Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. This is an episode I've been thinking about doing for a while. So we've got the 2019 Kubota L4701 tractor. It has the LA765 front end loader with the BH92 backhoe attachment on at the rear. And I'll show you why we're out here looking at the tractor today. Just this morning, we crossed the 1,000 hour mark on the clock. So that means we can do the 1,000 hour review on this tractor. The good, the bad, how it's done, what's broken in that time, work we've had to do to it. We'll do the full rundown. So let's go. So the only work this tractor really ever does is front end loader work and backhoe work. We have the Kubota 4-foot adjustable pallet forks we got with it, as well as the 5-foot dirt bucket, and we also have a 5-foot grapple that uses these auxiliary hydraulic takeouts right here. Everything for the front end has been working great. The grapple bucket is especially handy. And then the backhoe at the rear. So this is the 18-inch wide bucket, 4 teeth. Of the $1,000 that are on this tractor, easily 400 of those have been on the backhoe. And the teeth have worn down probably a ½ an inch. They used to be about that long and a lot sharper, but they're still doing just fine. We also outfitted it with the hydraulic thumb. One of the best decisions we ever made. That thing is so handy. You can also tell how much we use the backhoe because these stabilizer feet stay shiny all the time, as do the control levers. We've worn the paint clear off of them below the knobs. I guess one gripe I've got about the foot control pedal for the hydraulic thumb is that if you're climbing up to the platform from this side, it's really easy to bump that with your foot. You can fold it up and stow it out of the way like that. I rarely ever do, but it's just something you really need to pay attention to. Another classic Kubota problem across just about all their backhoe attachment lines are stabilizers that will drift down over time. So we just use this nylon strap with these hooks, and we hook it from one stabilizer to the other. That keeps them up and they won't drift down. If you park it in a shed, you don't have to worry about anything contacting or maybe something drifting down and then catching as you're trying to drive out the door. You also need to engage this boom lock whenever you're going to have it parked, because that will slowly drift over time as well. We've got a little bit of wear happening up here at the top of the stick from the shielding that goes around that hydraulic line that feeds down to the thumb. That's just normal wear and tear. Knock on wood, we've never snagged a hydraulic line. We've never had any kind of trouble with that whatsoever. Similar wear starting in up here a little bit. Not a big deal. I had been nervous about this hydraulic line right here because as the stick pivots, it rubs on the inside edge right there, but so far no wear, no problems at all. Another thing I was nervous about initially, every pin in this backhoe system is on a polymer bushing. I didn't know how those were going to hold up. So far though, like I said, probably a good 400 hours on this backhoe. We don't have anywhere any slack in any of those pins, bushings at all, but we also keep this well greased. I would give, honestly, this backhoe attachment 5 out of 5 stars performance wise, but you have to realize it is just an attachment. It is not a purpose-built backhoe, so it will not perform like a purpose-built backhoe, but that's okay for Kubota's sake, because I certainly did not pay them purpose-built backhoe money for this attachment. Its main downfall is the fact that it is run entirely off of one hydraulic circuit. It feeds this whole valve bank. So if you need to use two functions simultaneously, like pivoting the boom and moving the stick, it's going to slow way down because, well, the boom has 2 cylinders at the base, the stick has this one big cylinder here. That's a lot of fluid flow requirement, and it has to be split between them. But if you would stop moving the stick but still have your boom lever in full pivot mode, because the demand that this cylinder was taking suddenly goes away, all of that hydraulic supply then goes down to your boom cylinders and it speeds way up, and sometimes you can actually overswing and miss your mark. So you definitely have to mind these levers. If you're going to slack off on one and keep using the other, just let off a little bit. You're kind of the speed governor for the whole system. But purpose-built backhoes, they have minimum 2 circuits that feed that bank, some of them even more. It's just what's going to come with the territory when you have that little hydraulic flow. But overall, once you understand how things work, you get it. And wear and tear on the edges of the backhoe seat, a little bit of a crack starting right there, as well as one on the other side, and the majority of that is from transitioning in and out of that seat. And well, it is a small platform and I've got very large feet. I've also caught these foam corner protectors quite a lot getting on and off of the machine, but that's what they're there for. Tire wear for 1,000 hours, I'd say they look really good yet. Really nothing for wear on the rears and nothing for wear to speak of on the fronts either. But we're not doing like tillage work, steady pulling with this. It's moving things with the front end loader or digging things with the backhoe. That's going to be a lot easier on tires. There is some operator platform step wear, some deck wear where your feet are planted quite a lot. Yeah, comes with the territory. Seat up here looks really good. This tractor does have Cat 1 3-point on it, but we put the backhoe on this right away and it's never been off. We have other 3-point tractors for that type of work. We have other dedicated drawbar tractors for steady pulling. Honestly, my opinion, I would not want to use an HST hydrostatic for steady pulling anyway, because when you put these under power, they get noisy, and when they get noisy, they start making a lot of heat. If we were going to need to do like a lot of farm tillage work, drawbar work, 3-point work, we would have went with an M series instead of this L series. But this L, for what we do, pretty much the perfect platform. The one thing that we really like this HST hydrostatic transmission for is winter snow removal, because we'll have the bucket on the front and it's an infinitely variable speed transmission. So as we come into a pile, we can slowly advance at whatever speed is required as we lift the bucket and dump. And it's so much better than having to slip a clutch or spin tires. Just being able to vary your speed down to whatever you need it to be and still have full power going down to your wheels, that works very well. So I guess if I had to find a downside to that HST transmission, it's the fluid and filter service interval. 400 hours on the fluid, 200 hours on the filters. And for that Super UDT2 fluid, for as often as you're changing that, they could make it a bit cheaper than what it is, but we've done all the changes. We're halfway through our 3rd fill on it right now, and keep good clean fluid in there. We've never had a problem. All right, let's pop the hood. Everything under here has basically been trouble-free. Aside from just regular fuel filter changes, engine oil and filter changes, and air filter changes, I think the only other thing we had to do was replace the battery. We did replace that a year ago because it was just starting to crank a little bit slower than we thought it should when it was really cold. So we just went ahead and did like a preemptive strike, and so it's on its 2nd battery. The only trouble we've had was one of the clamps at the transmission fluid cooler had a slight leak at 7 hours, and it was just a faulty screw clamp. I just threw a new one on and cleaned it off, verified fluid level, and it's been good ever since. So yeah, other than the battery change and that minor leak, that's the only trouble we've had. This is a non-DEF tractor, but it does have the DPF, diesel particulate filter. So this does do a regen about every 20 operating hours, and knock on wood, we've never had trouble with it. The pressure sensors are good. All the tubes are good. We've never had it clog. The regens seem to clean it out. I'd just as soon not have to fool with regens either, but I'd rather take that over DEF. We haven't even had to change a fan belt. That's been really good. We retensioned it one time just for good measure. Other than that, no issues whatsoever. Another thing I do like about this tractor, we've got this clean out screen that goes in front of the radiator, and it's a lot smoother of an operation when you've got two hands to devote to it and you're not running a camera. But yeah, you can just release these. There's a little spring on each side, pull it out, clean all the dust and debris that has tried to accumulate in front of the radiator core. Then you just slide it back in. Those corner springs hold it in place. You can keep all that good and clean. Your cooling system stays right at proper capacity. So that pretty much does it for under the hood. I love the quick attach feature at the front of that loader. Makes it so easy to change tools that are on the front. I do also like the extra framework that came with that backhoe attachment. It just ties, you know, the loader frame to the chassis of the tractor so much better. None of that stuff has ever loosened up or given us any problems. And we've done, like I said, a lot of loader work and a lot of backhoe work with this, and it's just been trouble-free. So I guess if I had one main gripe about this tractor, I've never cared for the way the exhaust points down and mostly forward, okay? Because if you're operating into a headwind, you do get a lot of exhaust fumes that come up to the operator's platform. I much prefer tractors that have vertical stack. That's just how this one was put together, and I believe you could get a vertical stack option for this, and it would take the place of this perforated panel right here, and you'd at least have one that would stick up top. Aside from that, the typical gripe of anyone who's ever owned a piece of equipment, regardless of size, is you always just wish it was bigger. I would like a little bit higher loader lift with this, but the tractor that this replaced had a much bigger loader with a much higher lift, so we had already got used to that. But otherwise, this loader is excellent. It doesn't settle, it doesn't drift. You can raise a load, it stays there. We can't say that about our previous tractor. So I think we've just about done the full walk around. Power steering's been excellent, no troubles at all. We keep that front axle pivot pin well greased because we do so much loader work. Try to keep up on the maintenance in general. We've never had wheels loosen up. All that's been very good. So all in all, that's pretty much the full walk around 1,000-hour review of the tractor. Very little problems, and it's been a solid performer, always reliable. It would be nice to have a cab, especially in this climate, but that would have just been too much. So thank you for watching, everyone. That's the honest assessment of the 2019 Kubota L4701. All in all, no regrets with that tractor. It's been very, very good, and I would certainly buy another one. So thank you for watching. Hope to see you all back again.